Hey, you know Gary Allman? The name sounds familiar. Yeah, but it was a Gary Allman in the paper yesterday. Same name, same spelling, but him. Trip.
That what happened?
Had a picture of a guy in there dead named Gary Allman, but it wasn't the same Gary Allman that I know. Same name, spelling, and everything.
Uh-huh.
I'm about the same age too. I know Gary about 4 years older than me. That's weird.
Yeah, what's happening? What's happening? Hey, Dynamic D in the hizzy. Hey, well, let me do my shout outs. Y'all know I'm used to it and y'all are used to it. Every Saturday morning, what's up, Central Arkansas? How about Atlanta? Nowlands, I see you out there. My baby girl in Chi-Town. I don't want to forget my folks in Los Angeles, California. Hey, and I see you, Kim, down in Plano, Texas, right outside of the Big D. Welcome to the Weekly Sports Magazine. I'm Dynamic Dave. I'm here every Saturday morning, 8 to 10 a.m., kicking back like a frat rat, old school style, playing the best music from the 70s. Oh, I'm not either. This is a sports show. You stupid people. I know y'all think I'm crazy, but hey, I'm having a good time here in the studio this morning. We've got a guest too, so I have to be on my best behavior. Brother Wayne, he'll be chiming in with us this morning as well. He's got a show coming up on Joynet Radio. Hey, I'm telling you, folks, Joynet Radio is on the com. Y'all just better check it out. You better start getting your advertising in here as well, because while the rates are low, because pretty soon you ain't gonna be able to advertise. I'm just saying. So anyway, we got a lot of great sports coming up for you today. It's going to be a fun day as well. Of course, we'll do the dynamic dish later on. And of course, I read an article yesterday, I guess from Dan Ravel, and about the money that's going to be earned just by the Atlantic Coast Conference. It's going to boggle your mind. So we're going to get into that a little bit this morning as well. Also, we've got Greg Pogue, who will be here about 8:20. We'll talk a little bit about the NFL. We'll talk about the Titans. Of course, I lived in Nashville and covered them for years and see what's going on with them. And we'll also talk a little bit about college basketball. That'll be about 8:20, somewhere in there. Got a good interview with him. And about 8:50, we'll talk to my good buddy Tim Swift. Tim doubles as our NFL fantasy guru and our college basketball analyst, and we'll talk to him also. About 9:25, we'll try to go to New York and catch our good friend Larry Ridley from New York Sports South, and he's our NBA analyst, and we'll talk to him about what's going on. Look, 7 games left for the Golden State Warriors. Will they or won't they? I checked out their schedule, and we'll do that later on as well. Odds are they will. The only 3 games I saw that potentially could be a hole, but that they could step in. But I think they're going to break the record. So we'll get into that later on as well. Just tons and tons of information that we've got. We're going to talk a little NFL. They're in denial. We'll get into that. And, of course, college basketball. And then there were 8. So we'll talk about the Final well, the potential Final Four, I guess you could say the top seeds got revenge this weekend. They came back with a vengeance. I'm gonna give you a little stat here in a moment that's gonna kind of blow your mind. It's pretty obvious, but it kind of freaked me out considering what happened the first week, where all of the lower seeds were doing all the upsets, and that's always the best week. But fascinating. The tournament, it's been fun, no doubt about it, and lots of money being made. Let's do this. Let's bring in our guest quickly. Hey, Brother Wayne, good morning. Welcome to the Weekly Sports Magazine.
Good morning, brother. Thank you for having me on. I'm just riding shotgun, you guys. I've heard this program. Very good show. Just riding up here. You were correct when you told me that there was a lot to talk about. I tell you, you raised a whole lot. It's going to be a full show this morning, and I appreciate the opportunity to sit in with you, sir.
Well, we'll have some fun this morning as well. And of course, I need to remind people, you can go out on the website, theweeklysportsmagazine.com, and stream the show live. You can also, and I'll post it on Facebook here in a few minutes. You can go to Facebook. I'll post a link out there where you can catch the show. By the way, tweet me at Weekly Sports Mag. That's how you can tweet me. And of course, you can call us at 855-525-5683. I always tell you that, it's 8 o'clock. A lot of people get to sleep in. There are some people that are up. But if your spouse is laying next to you, what do I always tell you every Saturday morning? Reach over there and pinch him on the butt and wake him up and say Dave Coleman's on there. Just pinch him, okay? Don't get fresh. Just give him a little pinch, okay? They'll like that,
Yeah,
brother, why you think I'm crazy?
Yeah. It is early.
Yeah, hey, ain't nothing wrong. Saturday morning, hey, what's up? But anyway, it's a lot of stuff to talk about this morning. I tell you what we're going to do here, we're going to take our first break here in just a moment. And when we come back, we'll get into some headlines because there are a lot of them. And then as we go along, we'll break them down a little bit more. All right? So, I know what you're wondering. I know what you're wondering. See, every week I have what I call the artist of the week with the bumper music. Who am I doing this week? You're just going to stick and stay, and don't go away. I'll show you in just a moment. You'll like it, by the way. You're listening to the Weekly Sports Magazine on joynetradio.com.
Last week you did Curtis Blow.
Huh?
You sure look
You say what?
good in this suit.
Well, thank you.
Last week you did Curtis Blow.
InStyle
Yep.
menswear and accessories located at McCain Mall in North Louisville.
Yeah, I just did that on a whim because I
Break it
was
up.
That's right. They've got
had to. A lot of people don't know nothing about the Christmas song back in the day.
Damn, there.
I'm telling you.
It remains the
It
thing.
includes a suit, shoes, socks, tie, and shirt for $159.99. By the way, did I say
Hey, good morning.
alterations are included? Suit special. That's InStyle menswear and accessories located at McCain Mall in North Little Rock.
Hey, this style has you looking really good. Here's my number. Call me.
Dynamic Dave for JoyNetRadio.com. I'm inviting all small businesses to contact me at 855-525-5683 and let JoyNet Radio set up an advertising package specifically designed with your business in mind. This is a great opportunity for small businesses to get your products on the air. Do you want to get the word out about a new business? JoyNet Radio is for you. You want to advertise your event or social gathering? Joynet Radio is for you. Do you preach or teach? Do it right here on joynetradio.com. Call me, Dynamic Dave, at 855-525-5683 or go to joynetradio.com and review our great lineup of shows. Let's help each other and let's get your products in the hands of consumers across the country. Call me, Dynamic Dave, at joynetradio.com at 855-525-5683. I'll talk to you soon. David W. Coleman here for Coleman's Dynamic Rib Rub and Rib Nuts. Go to ribrub.com, that's RIBBRUBB.com right now, and stock up on the best dry marinades for baking, grilling, and smoking your favorite meats. 3 great flavors: hot, spicy, original, and scorching. Try them at your next cookout and you will shout, bacon, grilling, shaking, oh yeah! Only one place to get Coleman's Dynamic products. That's ribrub.com. Easy to order, and I'll ship direct to you or to friends and family anywhere in the United States. While on the site, be sure to check out other great items, especially the rib nuts. Who'd have thunk it? Peanuts sauteed in a barbecue marinade? That's just crazy good. Get them at ribrub.com right now, along with other great recipes. That's ribrub.com. If you don't like my rib rub or rib nuts, I'll give you money back. Do it today. That's Coleman's Dynamic Products at ribrub.com.
It's been a long time. I never think I was going to see you again. See, you haven't changed. It's good to see you anyway. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday.
Yeah, what's happening? We play the best old school bumper music in the universe. Who we got here? Y'all know what I'm talking about. This is a little Sherelle, well, I should say Alexander O'Neal featuring Sherelle. And of course, if you hadn't figured it out by now, our bumper music today will be by the great R&B singer Alexander O'Neal. Man, that guy was funky and could blow. Had a chance to see him in a live concert, and it was like nightclub style. Man, they tore it up.
Yeah, I'm familiar with some Alexander.
Oh yeah, no doubt about that. So let's we'll play a little bit of that. How about that?
That sounds good.
We'll play it to Alex. We gotta get a little Alex in there. That's Sherelle right there.
Where is he these days?
Unfortunately, you know, I watch. There's a great show that comes on TV One called Unsung.
Unsung, best show on TV.
It really is. It is the best show on television.
Yeah,
and they showed a piece on him, and this was a couple of years ago. This boy could sing, man. Unfortunately, he got involved in drugs, cocaine, and you know, as a lot of them did, unfortunately. Hadn't heard anything from him lately, so, but that's how it goes. But I mean, this guy could really, really go. So.
I haven't seen his unsung. Is it, he got an unsung?
Yeah, there's an unsung for Alexander O'Neal.
Okay.
Yeah. It's to the point now they're even doing unsung Hollywood now, Black Stars in Hollywood. They started off in music, but as you said, it is the best program on television.
It really is.
Particularly if you came up in our era and you heard these people, got to know them, and you hear some of the things behind the scenes.
The one that broke my heart was Ohio Players. Did you see the one on the Ohio?
Oh yeah, I mean, but see, they all were. I mean, you think about Roger Troutman and Zap.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? So
that one though was kind of known as far as the news was concerned.
Yeah,
we didn't know what happened to Ohio.
Yeah,
Players.
and look, and what about Confunction?
Right.
And what happened with Confunction?
Yeah, that's cool.
You know, it's crazy. Oh well, Lou Rawls that shocked me. Right. And Lou Rawls had shocked me how he was such a woman abuser, man.
I haven't seen Lou.
So it's interesting. But anyway, hey, I can talk about. Hey, it's a sports show.
You see,
I know
it's
a sports show, but I can talk music out. You know, back in those days. But anyway, let's get to some headlines and talk a little bit. Of course, as I said earlier, and the scores of the NCAA tournament. And let's just go back to Thursday because that's when the Sweet 16 began, and we went into the Sweet 16 thinking maybe, just maybe, that there was going to be a lot of upsets, but obviously the upsets took place on the first weekend. They did not hold serve on the second weekend. The fascinating thing about this weekend, Thursday night and Friday night, every one of the top seeds won. There were no lower seeds, even if it was a 4 and a 5. The 4 won, every one of them. So that first week where we saw the dominance, or at least the excitement of some of the lower seeds winning the top seeds, it's like your mama and you're eating and you get ready to reach up on the table and grab one of those rolls and your mama slaps your hand. That's what the top seeds did to the midnight.
What that does, I got an opinion on that. What that does to me is when those lower seeds win on that first night, it literally makes an easier path for those higher seeds. Because I think what happens is that when that first night and those lower seeds play those middle seeds, when you haven't seen them play before, you're new to them, you don't know who they're going to be, and they can sneak up on you with a hot shooting night. But after that, you get to prepare for them.
Yep, that's exactly what happened.
And when you prepare for them, it's always the team with the most talent usually wins out, because you can prepare for those new guys, for those young guys, for those lower seeds. And so it makes those ones come up against a 10 and or one come up against a 14. It's not working.
Well, it certainly isn't working. And now we're down to the Elite Eight. But let me just give you some scores from, let's see, Thursday night. I think these are Thursdays here. Mm-hmm. Iowa State and Virginia. Actually, these are last night.
Yeah, that's last night. I saw that one.
Let me go back here. Let me start with Thursday. All right, Thursday night, we've got Villanova pounding Miami. It's 92-69.
Miami was my pick to do some damage. I saw Miami play. They had a lot of athleticism on that team. I expected them to really whoop Villanova. Villanova cut them up.
Tore them up. Oklahoma 77-63 over Texas A&M. I actually picked Texas A&M to go to the Final Four, but my bracket was blown up a long time ago. Kansas dominates Maryland. And all of these games started off as decent games, but by the end they were terrible. I thought the Maryland game was going to be very good, but Kansas just stretched it out 79-63.
Kansas is very strong. That's my pick now for the champion.
And Oregon over Duke 82-68. So that was the Thursday night games. So as I said, no lower seeds won. For example, you had the 3 seed Miami and the 2 seed Villanova. You had the 3 seed Oklahoma, the 2 seed the 3 seed Texas A&M, the 2 seed Oklahoma. You had the 1 seed Oregon and the 4 seed Duke, and you had the 1 seed Kansas and the 5 seed Maryland. So all of the higher seeds won. The lower seeds, I should say higher seeds, I'm sorry, won on Thursday night. And the same thing took place last night as well, as Virginia just kind of dominated Iowa State. Georgia Niang is going to make a lot of money, 30 points, 8 rebounds in that game. Notre Dame and Wisconsin, probably the best game of the night. Wisconsin had an opportunity to win that game. Notre Dame, although, again, Notre Dame is the higher seed. They won. They were the 6th. Wisconsin was the 7th. So they won 61-56.
2 uncalled fouls in that game caused Wisconsin to lose.
Yep.
They did not call those fouls. They mugged that dude and took the ball from him twice, and they didn't call it.
And also in Chicago, you had, let's see, Syracuse beating, let me take that back. Yeah, Syracuse beating the number 11 seed. Now, Syracuse is now the highest seed left. They're number 10. They beat Gonzaga, which was number 11. Now, those were the higher seeds that had went in, the double-digit seeds. But now there's only one, with Syracuse beating 63-60. That was actually a pretty good game as well. I watched that. And North Carolina, the team that I'm expecting to win it all now, 101-86 over Indiana. And they were just out-talented by North Carolina.
That's all.
There's no ifs, ands, or buts about that.
That's all.
Those were some of the headlines. Let's see some of the other quick headlines. And we've got to go to my good buddy Greg Polk. We'll be getting him on here in just 8. The NFL is still in denial as it relates to CTE. This is going to really blow up. And here's the bottom line, folks. The reason that they're in denial, because they see the future. And they see that eventually, if they sign on to that football causes CTE, it's going to kill football. I'm telling you, I may not be around, but in 20 years, parents are going to wake up and they're not going to let their kids play football. Just pay attention to that. Also, LeBron James, is he talking about a new dream team? Well, there was news last week that LeBron James would take a salary cut if he could play with Chris Paul, Carmelo Anthony, and Dwayne Wade. We'll keep an eye on that. And, of course, Golden State won their 65th game. Also, congratulations to San Antonio. They won 37 straight at home last night, beating the Memphis Grizzlies. But Golden State, the watch is on. Will they get to 72-10 and tie the Bears or beat the Bears? You can go back and we'll look at their schedule a little later on. You look at their schedule. There aren't too many landmines in the way, so we'll keep an eye on that as well. So look, we got to go out and take another break. When we come back, we'll talk to our good buddy Greg Pogue from Nashville, Tennessee. You're listening to the Weekly Sports Magazine on JoyNetRadio.com.
When you do an interview that you take, you do it here.
Step out in style with InStyle menswear and accessories. Located in McCain Mall, we've got fashion accessories that won't break your budget. Come to InStyle's menswear and accessories and get suit,
And all
shirt,
the advertising that you play to embrace.
and
All your
shoes
advertising, you want to do guys with it.
Yeah, join my show.
$59.99. That's right. $159.99. Dress for
Now,
success.
this one, although this
Dress
company
to
is,
impress.
they play
That's
all the time.
InStyle
So they actually
menswear
bought.
and
I sold it, so
located in
one of the things that I did
McCain
was I told them I
Mall.
played on my show
Classy
too.
InStyle menswear and accessories is your men's store. Get to InStyle menswear and accessories and ask for the $159.99 suit special. Step out in style with InStyle menswear and accessories at McCain Mall in North Little Rock.
So you had advertising before you went on your show?
How much money would you be willing to give? 50,
Before your show started?
$500 maybe? How about just $10? Hi, my name is David W. Coleman, and in conjunction with A Father's Family Affair, we've launched the 100 for 10 to 1K scholarship campaign. We need 100 people to donate $10 to assist a young father with college tuition. Just $10. Go to afathersfamilyaffair.com now to make a tax-deductible donation. Your small tax-deductible gift of $10 could make the difference in a young father furthering his education as opposed to a minimum wage job. Your $10 could make the difference in a young father dropping out or completing his degree for him and his family. Please give to the 100 for 10 to 1K scholarship campaign today. It's just $10. Make that tax-deductible donation at afathersfamilyaffair.com right now.
And then I see you invited your old babe. And look at her. She looks like just like you do. Her dress is as tacky as your suit.
Hey, that's definitely.
I see why you guys were together. You make a real good couple.
You playing your music right from YouTube.
Yeah, I'll play it. I have some loaded here too. I'll play it, but it's to me, it's just easy to pull it from YouTube.
Yeah.
Unless there's some stuff that's not on it that I have personally that I'll play. This was a bad boy. And to hear him live and see him sing, that was his voice. I mean, that was pure singing. That boy had a voice. But he got on that snow, man.
My best partner when we were in school, it's called Big Honeybee. Looked just like this.
He did.
Yeah.
Back to the Weekly Sports Magazine.
He
As
really
you all
did.
know, we play the best
We passed
ball
off about
in the
5
universe.
years
Another
ago.
line with us right now. My good friend, my brother,
Frat
from
guy
my
here, too.
brother spent 12, 13
Got a lot of my
years waking
friends.
up with him every morning. Don't get the wrong idea from that. My good friend Greg Pogue. Hey, Greg. Good morning. How are you?
I was wondering what the heck are you talking about? Yeah, we did a radio show in Nashville together for a decade. Let's call it that.
Yeah,
Okay?
yeah, no doubt about that.
But you were, every morning you were the first thing I saw, though, which is good and bad.
Yeah, no doubt about that. You know, it's funny. I was looking at an old picture of that barbecue shrimp New Orleans Friday morning. People said, "Yeah, we ate that at 6 o'clock in the morning." Yes, we did. So we were just like that.
You had it for breakfast.
No doubt about that. Well, look, before we get into basketball, because I know that's what's on the agenda for everyone this weekend, I want to talk a little bit about the Tennessee Titans. I've been reading so much stuff about the Titans and the new GM and how he's getting it right. And so far, it looks like the pickup of Murray, some other things that he's doing. Talk a little bit about how
Murray.
What the I guess you say the
He's going to
transactions
the
he's
Titans.
made thus far. How is that affecting Nashville and the fans so far?
Well, you know, obviously when you had 5 wins over 2 seasons,
You ain't lying. They so irrelevant.
that it was time
But
to
they still,
change.
who's their coach still? They
John
still got to do.
Ross with the Patriots.
No, they just
Assistant GM a couple years in Tampa
well,
Bay.
what is his name? Mike Malarkey.
But they had a coach for a long time, didn't they?
Jeff Fisher.
Yeah, Fisher.
Yeah, he's been gone for a while.
It probably turned up to
That's
be
part of the reason they're in the mess that they're in.
Tampa Bay,
Yeah,
certainly Mariota here in Nashville, but
I have to think hard about who's on that team.
Tennessee, Union City, and he's pushed all the right buttons. And, you know, obviously the DeMarco Murray deal. I mean, they got their lead running back. The only thing they had to do was they didn't give up any bodies. They just switched 4th round draft picks and lost those spots in the 4th round.
He had a big old contract.
And so that one.
Didn't hurt him at all. Plus, he basically sat out 1 year.
Yeah, because he didn't do jack last season.
Didn't play much. So good pickup.
Who's the quarterback?
Marcus Mariota.
Oh, that's right. He did go to there.
The secondary, strengthening the wide receiver.
Had a decent season.
For a rookie, yeah.
Starting
Yeah.
center, he's been a mainstay in the middle in Arizona. So every one of the free agents moves.
By the way, the other voice that you all are hearing is Brother Wayne. He's in studio with me this morning. So I'm not talking to myself, or the walls are not talking to me. Okay, I just want y'all to know that. Okay.
That's beautiful. That's beautiful.
Yeah, we're live. So I meant to tell you that. Just be careful what you say. Don't be dancing around here in your underwear or anything. People see. I'm not gonna let him do that anyway.
Well, they're
You
going
know.
to take Larry Buxell, and they're going to move Taylor Lewan to right tackle. And you should have your book in tackles for a long time. So all the things they've done in free agency, none of them has been to shore up make their need, and that's the right tackle slot.
You know, I found it interesting and read an article last week where he was talking about, and I know it was probably tongue in cheek when you talk about Larry Thompson, but I guess he was asked what would it take for someone to get that draft pick from the Titans, and he said they basically need to back up the Brinks truck. Was he being tongue in cheek? and I agree with it, because right now they don't need a quarterback. They can get by with their offensive line. They've got their running back. I think the Titans, for the first time in a long time, are sitting in a catbird seat when it comes to that pick. What are your thoughts?
Well, yeah, and it's good and bad. You don't want to ever have to have the first round #1 overall pick. That means you have the worst record in the league. But so for a good reason. But yeah, now we got to wonder if Cleveland sitting there at #2. You know, they were thinking quarterback. Now that they signed RG3, you know, what do? Do they go ahead and draft another quarterback, or do they move back? And if anybody
Bad move by him to go to Cleveland. I don't like
they
that.
know the Titans aren't going to take it. They know the Browns probably.
Hugh Jackson isn't a bad coach.
Team is horrible.
Yeah, that's true, but
And he's already shaky. His confidence level is shaky.
it's probably the best offer that he got.
That's probably it. It has to be it. Because he's going to go there and get beat up again. And if he's getting throwing interceptions and all that again, he's too fragile. He needs to be with a good team and a backup for a good team.
You know, but all signs are pointing right now to Larry Tunsil, the big left tackle out of Minnesota. Apparently,
Because if they pick a quarterback in the first round, he's just going to be meat to the Lions.
You know, you mentioned the quarterback situation. Could this be because you picked up, as you said, Cleveland picked up RG3? I don't know that San Diego would draft a quarterback.
I really not
right
like
now.
RG3.
I don't know that Dallas would draft one simply because, and I could be wrong, the buzz around these top two guys just is not working for a lot of people. And could it be that this might be the first time sometime that a quarterback is not taken in the first round? Or am I just wondering?
Well, yeah, I think you'll see, Paxton Lynch go.
I like the Lynch.
The Jets are going to need of a quarterback there. Yeah, I mean, talking about Dawn and also quarterback out of
South Dakota,
the Division II quarterback out of Northern Iowa, I believe.
North Dakota.
North Dakota.
Yeah, North Dakota.
Yeah, North Dakota, somewhere up in there. And I mean, it's just not like it is. Last year when you had 1A and 1B with Winston and Mariota, these are mid to late first round draft picks, and that's only because they're the best of the bunch. And this is the weakest quarterback class in quite some time.
Yeah, it is. We're talking to Greg Polk from WNSR Radio. You can catch him on WNSRradio.com and polkmedia.com. Greg, let's take a look at college basketball. And certainly hats off to Kermit Davis. I sent him a tweet the other day. And of course, with Achilles, the history with the basketball team. I was just glad to see that. Unfortunately, the second game, they didn't do too well. But I do want to mention that. How did that win affect the people at Middle Tennessee?
Well, obviously, we had Kermit on the radio show Thursday morning. He spent the previous day, touring the state legislature, Capitol. He was recognized. They were recognized on the Senate floor, and just the recruiting of it. And a lot of people, 16 has never been a 1. 8 times a 15 has been a 2. And this may be the biggest upset, although, quite frankly, we talked about it. I thought Middle should have been much better than a 15 seed, probably a 12 or maybe not a 12, but a 13, no worse than a 14. And Michigan State, should have been a 1. But if you're looking at one of the biggest upsets in NCAA basketball history, it's still with the Q line. And the spread was 16, 17 points. And it's, it really drew a lot of attention. I mean, just, with obviously the men and the women both winning Conference USA. And it's something, Kermit, in the process of getting this contract reworked. And it's something that will pay dividends. It's the biggest athletic achievement in MTSU history. And, it's a place, how successful Kermit's been. I mean, he wins 20 games every year, and it's just up in the NCAA tournament out 2 times in 4 years. But just it didn't, for a lot of people, like you and I, validated, but that program got national validation with that upset.
They really did, and I was so proud of Kermit, and certainly our relationship with Kermit has been ongoing for years. And I look at that, and I guess my question is, when you look at Tennessee State, who got knocked out in the first round of the tournament, and you look around the country where all the mid-majors seem to have stepped up their game even more, even right here in Little Rock Trojans, where they beat the 5 seed, no one expected them to do that either. Can we see, or will we see, the committee now taking a more serious look at some of these mid-major conferences, even in the case of a Tennessee State or a Belmont, who was beaten by Austin Peay? On any given day, a team can beat another team. We know that. Should they be punished simply because they had a bad game, considering what we've seen in the tournament this year up until obviously last night?
Well, if you see that, too, that the mid-majors should step up and beat in recent years, the runs of the Butlers. Butler, you don't even think of Butler as a mid-major anymore, but when it was back-to-back national championship games, it was. That run sort of started with George Mason. Remember when they went to the Final Four, Wichita State certainly in that category. It's what it is. I mean, now if you look at an MTSU, you look at a TSU at the time of year in there, you look at a Belmont, no one's going to go in their building and play. That was set up for loss. You're going to have to go on the road.
One plays 2 today in both games.
That's not going to play
Whoever wins the Kansas Villanova game,
I was talking to Kirk
that's gonna be the winner.
Example, they had a really nice non-conference schedule. Their RPI is 54 conference that they play the game. By the time they did work 10 out of 12 games, and it dropped 30 spots. Because, and so it's incumbent upon the league to get that, and your league is being punished because the bottom half of your league has no commitment to basketball whatsoever. I would, we just go as far as the SEC. The message that it received by only receiving 3 teams in. That's a total disgrace to the SEC.
Yeah.
Where's Arkansas? Where's Florida? Where are these teams? Alabama could come back. I mean, I think.
Is he talking basketball?
Did a nice job there. LSU, Johnny Jones, he didn't.
Arkansas will be back next year.
So, yeah, you're looking at the SEC is in a sort of in a grander way in the same situation. You've got to have the strength at the bottom of your league. It's where these leagues get the RPI. And,
SEC down right now. They got some horrible teams.
It's been down for a long time.
Yeah, because Arkansas is not up. When Arkansas
Yeah,
gets
no doubt
up,
about that.
Everybody-
I find
that's
it
the point he's
fascinating
making.
that You kind of segue right into my next question relating to the SEC. Probably shocking that they only received 3 teams and those traditional powers. You mentioned Florida, you mentioned Arkansas. I just don't understand. Greg, this has been going on for quite some time with the SEC. What is the deal with basketball in the SEC? Don't give me this mess where there's no commitment to basketball. Kids in the SEC want to play just as hard as anyone else. I just don't understand why they don't win or have consistent teams challenging other than Kentucky on a regular basis in this conference. What's going on here?
recruitment.
Well, you don't have any further than looking right there in your own state.
Mm-hmm.
Outside of Kentucky, who's got the best basketball tradition of the 14 teams?
Well, it's Arkansas, yes.
Arkansas.
Yeah.
And Arkansas, every year. I don't know what Mike Anderson's situation is or isn't. Really don't care. But the fact of the matter is, Arkansas should be in the NCAA tournament every year.
I agree.
They should be worried about the seed, not in or NIT. I tell you who's going to blow past everybody, and that's part of the conference. I know they're not in
They
the
forgot
division anymore in
Florida.
basketball. But Texas
Yeah,
A&M,
Florida's going to be down there, though. I think they'll, Donovan's at Oklahoma City now.
Right.
And they're talking about finding the guy that they got this year.
No,
His
it wasn't
replacement.
about him. He did well for the first year.
He didn't do what they consider Florida well.
So,
True.
that's encouraging.
Because they did NIT, didn't they?
Billy Donovan gets down. LSU had the second best
Now,
talent in the league.
LSU is the one that needs to get fired. The whole staff.
Yeah, he's gone.
Get rid of him.
Yeah, Johnny Jones is gone.
And Mike Anderson needs to improve his staff.
Well, he needs to improve his recruiting because some of these guys.
Yeah. You got all them homers on his staff. He's a good dude. He wants to keep them around.
You can beat both.
Yeah, you can definitely be both. And considering that you need only 1 or 2 guys to turn your program around, I just don't get it with the SEC. But I guess that's an argument that we can have for another day because it just doesn't make any sense to me what's going on. Although I kind of understand Florida now that Donovan is in Oklahoma City. They were even talking about firing the coach that has replaced him this year because they weren't successful. So we'll see how that goes as well. Greg, tell people how they can get in touch with you, how they can listen to you, and all that other good stuff.
Well, WNSR.com, postmedia.com is our website. Also, ActRadioLive.com. I do a Sunday night Nashville Jazz show.
Oh, yeah.
It's all archived. Yeah, so I'm really enjoying doing a 2-hour Nashville Jazz at ActRadioLive.com. It's on the CNN app. And we've got listeners from all over the world, as a matter of fact. It's doing really well.
And that's the jazz show, by the way. We can talk sports all the time, but the jazz show starts at 6 p.m. on Sundays, right?
On Sunday night, but you listen then, or just they're all archived. You go listen whatever you feel like.
All right, man. Sounds good. Great talking to you, and we'll talk to you next week.
That's my good buddy Greg Pogue. Thanks, Greg. We'll talk to you next week as always. We got to go out and take a quick break. You're listening to the Weekly Sports Magazine on JohnNetRadio.com.
David W. Coleman here for Coleman's Dynamic Rip Rub and Rip Nuts. Go to riprub.com. That's RIBBRUB.
No, we did radio in Nashville morning for 15 years. So,
Baking, grilling, and smoking
yeah.
your favorite
We
meats.
did morning drive.
Great flavors. Hot, spicy, original, and scorching.
Best show in the city at one point.
You will shout, bacon, grilling, shaking.
You were living in
oh,
Nashville,
yeah.
Tennessee.
Only one place to get Coleman's Dynamic products. That's riprub.com. Easy to order, and I'll ship direct to you or to friends and family anywhere in the United States. While on the site, be sure to check out other great
See, at one time,
items,
everybody,
especially
the SEC was the conference that was running ball. Nolan Richardson came in and changed the paradigm.
Get them at
He made it so that it
right
was
now.
94 peak game.
Yeah, but that was over 20 years ago.
That's what I'm saying. That's why the SEC was so outstanding at the time.
Well, they had Kentucky. They've always had Kentucky.
But then everybody else done caught up now, and it's all about athletes now. Who can you get?
Yeah.
And they're not, the SEC has been down in terms of their recruiting.
Yeah, their biggest mistake was hiring John Pelfrey.
My name is David.
Stan Heath,
And in
too.
conjunction with
It's been downhill ever since Nolan left.
Well, they should have given it. They didn't give Heath enough time. But Heath was bad. John Pelfrey was even worse.
Yes, he was.
Go to afathersfamilyaffair.com now to make a tax-deductible donation. Your small tax-deductible gift of $10 could make the difference in a young father furthering his education as opposed to a minimum wage job. Your $10
And they couldn't give it to Mike right after they got rid of Nolan.
Which is what they should have done.
Which is what they should have done. They couldn't do that because they were trying to rid themselves of all the things Nolan.
Today. It's just $10. Make that tax-deductible donation at
And they didn't believe Mike was good enough to get it anyway.
right now.
He had to go prove himself.
Welcome back to the Weekly Sports Magazine. I'm Dynamic Dave. Thanks, Greg Pogue. A lot of great insight. Had a lot of fun doing the Weekly Sports Magazine. Well, what was it? I guess it was I don't forget the name of the show, but we did 15 years and I've forgotten the name of the show. That's crazy. In the background, we got a little more Alexander O'Neal and Sherelle. Never knew love like this before. We played the best bumper music in the universe. Let's listen to a little bit of that. I'm telling you, folks, if y'all want to go back and hear some good R&B, go check out Alexander O'Neal. In the studio with me this morning, we got Brother Wayne. We're just talking sports as we do every Saturday morning. What's up on today? We've got two great games today. Looking forward to that. The first game starts at 6 o'clock. Well, about 5 p.m. today. The second at 8:49, 7:49 our time. Oklahoma and Oregon. It's going to be a great game. Oregon is certainly very, very talented. And you look at Buddy Hield, the player of the year. I say the Stephen Curry of college basketball.
Whoa.
I mean,
hold up. Slow your roll. Good buddy. Slow your roll. Don't be putting him out there like that.
Oh, he is. Trust me.
Slow your roll.
Have you watched this guy?
Yes.
You know, he's the Stephen Curry of college basketball. He is. You got to cover him when you get off the bus. You just do. But that's going to be a great game. The over and under is 151 points. I don't really follow that when it comes to basketball, but that's going to be a fun game. The number 2 seed and the number 1 seed, Oregon being the number 1 seed, they're trying to hold up the mantle for the Pac-10, who got 17 in and ended up with, and then just went down in flames on the first weekend. Also, the other game, Kansas and Villanova, the Kansas Jayhawks number 1 seed, Villanova Wildcats number 2. We'll see if it holds score.
I don't have a dog.
Top
in
seed.
this, I don't have a dog in this race. I don't care about these games. I just want them to be good games. I love it when it's like that.
Yeah.
And I do sort of pull against Oregon, and you know why that is.
No, I don't know.
I'm in Arkansas. I'm a Razorback guy fan, and we know Dana Altman came here and did us kind of wrong. And,
I forgot about that.
And so he can't lose enough as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah.
This is the guy that was the University of Arkansas head coach for a half a day. He came. We hired this guy and he quit the next day.
Well, he's went on, and coaches can do that, man. But I forgot about that. Yeah, that's true.
So we
And I think that led to what? That led to John Pelfrey, didn't it?
That led to Pelfrey.
It sure did.
You just said that was one of the worst coaches.
Yeah. You had Stan Heath,
That's
which
right.
was bad.
Yes, sir.
Then you had Altman. I forgot about that.
Altman came in.
And then John Pelfrey.
We had him do the woo pig suey and everything.
And he hit the road. Yeah, I just said
The
something.
next day.
Hey, maybe he didn't like Polk. I
The
don't know.
next day.
Also, tomorrow's games, we got #1 Virginia playing the highest seed left in the tournament, Syracuse. Ought to be interesting. Both of these teams are methodical. Of course, Syracuse has that traditional 2-3 zone that I don't understand why people can't solve it. I mean, you see it all the time. And then Virginia, they play zone and they play great defense. That's going to be a low-scoring game. The over-under on that game is not even up yet. But Virginia, the #1 seed, versus the number 10 Syracuse, same time on Sunday for that game.
I pull against Boeheim. I don't like him. He is a nutcase, and that's probably why his defense is so good.
Yeah, that really makes a lot of sense, brother. Okay, he's crazy for basketball. There you go. At the nightcap on Sunday, you've got North Carolina versus Notre Dame. We had a pretty good game last night. North Carolina, I think overall is going to win this thing. I actually picked Michigan State initially. You typically can't go against Tom Izzo, but for them to lose to Middle Tennessee State, which is my son's alma mater, and of course you heard Greg and I talking about our relationship with the head coach Kermit Davis. Of course, my son was the manager for that basketball team up until last year when he graduated. And we got to talk to him last week about Middle and the excitement.
Yeah, I heard. I was really pulling for him, man. I really was.
Yeah. So, but anyway, so that game. So those are the 4 games left. When we end up, we'll have the final 4 for next weekend. Now, here are my predictions. Okay. Now I'm going to tell you what my predictions were. I still have my bracket. I didn't throw mine away like some of y'all. Okay. I'm a real sports guy. All right. I don't lose 2 games and just, I lost. I'm just not going to tell you what my overall record is. But anyway, my final 4 left. This is what I initially had. I had Kansas, North Carolina, Texas A&M, and Michigan State.
Bad. Texas A&M, you must have just been voting.
Well, I was actually I was thinking upset.
We beat A&M.
I actually should have stuck with Oklahoma, but I should have stuck with them. I don't know. I was, I try to pick upsets. I don't like to go chunk. All right.
A&M is home.
Okay.
What's home?
So now let's see. I have Kansas and North Carolina left over. So here are my predictions for tonight. I think North Carolina wins. I think Virginia wins. To be totally honest,
I think you're right.
That's going to be 2 number seeds. It's going to be 3 number seeds there because I think Kansas wins.
Kansas wins.
And well, do I want to go with Oregon? I'm going to pick Oklahoma.
Me too.
Okay, because I like Buddy Hield.
Me too.
And I think,
but he's no Steph Curry.
He's not. Oh well, no one's no Steph Curry.
He's not even in the same ballpark. What's Samuel Jackson say? They ain't even the same sport.
He was a better player. He's a better player in college than Steph Curry was.
What? At Davidson? You remember him at Davidson?
Yes.
What he did?
Yes.
Okay, that's debatable, but I hear you.
He's a better player in college than Steph Curry was a shooter. This guy rebounds. The other night he had a double-double. This guy is awesome.
See, I haven't seen him play against a team that has equal talent that plays man to man.
Did you not see him play that triple overtime game earlier? The best game of the year with Kansas.
Regular season.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did see that.
Okay. All right. So get it together, brother Wayne.
Yeah. Okay, that was a good game. But I'm just saying, I'm not trying to diminish this
you
young brother's talent.
You hate him, but
I think he's good. But I just want you to slow your roll when you got to compare him to Steph.
There are some Arkansas ties with Buddy.
Steph Curry is doing things that no player has done in the league before.
He's in the pros. We're talking college.
I hear you. That's why I said slow your roll now. This guy's good.
I said the college basketball equivalent of Steph Curry.
Now you did. Okay, feel that. I feel that. I go with that.
All right. We got to go out and take a break. We'll be back in just a moment. You listen to the Weekly Sports Magazine on JoyNetRadio.com.
If you could help a young father attend college, how much?
I think he's going to get his test tonight.
Yeah.
Against Oregon.
How about just $10? Hi,
Yeah.
my name is.
Yeah, that's gonna be a good game, I think.
Yeah.
I think that's gonna be a good game.
Because Oregon got 6'4" and 6'3" guards, so, and they got a 6'6" guy that can probably hold him. So they're gonna probably put him on him.
Just $10. Go to a father's family.
Yeah, I want to see him. I want to see him do that on somebody that's equal size to him.
Oh, Kansas couldn't handle him. They couldn't. Hey.
He listed Kansas. That was a rivalry game,
As
though.
opposed to a minimum wage job, your $10 could make the difference in
And I
a
do
young
think he's
father
good.
dropping
And
out.
he's a senior, isn't he?
Mhm.
Where was he last year? Never heard
He
of
was
him.
good last year.
Please give to the
Didn't see him
104.
In fact, he's got. I think there's a young lady that's live. I know her. She lives in Little Rock. A friend of mine. She's not a real friend of mine. I just know her through a relative that she married, and I think she has she's either a cousin or an aunt of someone. I'm gonna reach out to her next week and see if I can work out something to get him on the show.
Special going on right now for $159.99. It includes a suit, shoes, socks, tie, and shirt for $159.99. By the way, did I say alterations are included? InStyle menswear and accessories keeps you looking good for the ladies, and it won't break your budget. From casual to classy, get to InStyle menswear and accessories. And don't forget to ask about the $159.99 suit special. That's InStyle menswear and accessories, located at McCain Mall in North Little Rock.
Hey, InStyle has you looking really good. Here's my number. Call me.
Gerald and Mitchell. Boy, did they have O'Neal with them?
Who is that? See, I don't even know who they are.
We need to at least have heard of them before.
That's what I'm saying.
Playing basketball. Welcome back to the Weekly Sports Magazine. I'm Dynamic Dave. We're here every Saturday morning from 8 to 10 a.m. It's been a fun tournament. Although last night, I guess the higher seeds got their come up, as you can say. But the first week has been fantastic. On the line with me right now is Tim Swift. Tim, let's talk a little bit about the tournament. What are your thoughts thus far? And we'll get into what we think is going to happen later on.
Well, first of all, thanks for having me in. And the biggest thing that I've noticed, and this is a pattern that's gone on the last 10 years with the tournament, is the first weekend,
Let me
Get the
text my
upset.
boy.
you get the buzzer beaters, you get the real, like, shocking games.
That's right. First weekend.
In the second, when we did the second weekend with the Sweet 16 and Elite 8, the cream rises to the top.
You get a
And
chance to
you
look
saw
at it.
that last on Thursday night with what happened with some of the games happened. You've got 2-1-2 seeds going for the Final Four. So it's funny that the first weekend you see the upsets, but once you get to the Sweet 16 and the Elite 8, the good teams or the great teams take over.
Yeah, I'll agree with you, but
And it also speaks
I
to
find
who
this
these committee
fascinating,
is,
and
who the
my
committee
biggest
is that's
complaint
seeding
this
these
year
teams.
is, and I'm thinking about Tennessee State. Obviously, I'm thinking about.
Well, I think for the first time in a long time,
some
3
people
number
might say,
one
well, you
seeds.
got a personal
Well, wait a
interest.
minute.
Yeah, maybe so.
All
You
four
look at
number
what
one
happened at,
seeds could
UAR
potentially go to the Final Four.
And some of the other
Was it
majors who
Michigan
had
State of number
upsets.
one?
They're
I
number
think
two.
the committee is doing the fans, in my opinion, a disservice
It's 4 left?
by
Oh,
not
yeah, 3 left.
allowing more of these
Yeah.
mid majors into the tournament. Because look,
4 ones are left.
the larger schools will
Kansas,
not play these guys.
Oregon.
Oregon,
How are they going to get
North
the
Carolina,
RBIs?
and Virginia.
If
They all
these schools
won.
are not gonna play,
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's the biggest problem in college basketball right now.
And they're not playing each
As
other.
far as
Nope.
good mid-majors.
You're right.
And I'm
This
not
could
talking
be an
about
all
mid-majors,
one.
I don't think that's ever happened.
I don't think it has either.
or other teams that have established themselves. I'm talking about,
That'd be amazing.
like you said, CSU, Belmont. You know, those type of teams who are in these smaller, one bid, you know you're only going to get one bid in for the conference. Those type of teams, they can't get a Kansas on their schedule. They can't get a Duke or North Carolina on their schedule. And because of that, it really shifts how they have to have their RPI rating. And of course, just like everybody else, during the non-conference season, you want to schedule some teams with games where you're going to get wins. And you know you're going to get wins. And with some of these lower conference teams, that lowers your conference RPI and your RPI even more. And that's the biggest problem with college basketball right now as far as the selection committee and what they do and how they pick the 68 teams to get in. And I think right now there's got to be a shift and change as far as going to these athletic directors at the big schools, the Power 5 schools, and what they do and say, hey, you've got to schedule some of these little guys that might be good enough to beat you to be able to say, hey, we're going to even this thing out. And right now, it's not happening.
Well, you know, even if they would schedule, let's say, for instance, let's take TSU, for example, Tennessee State. Even if they don't schedule Tennessee State, and by the way, they're going to have problems getting scheduling after this year. But even if they don't schedule them, let's say if they schedule an Austin Peay. Now, although Austin Peay did go to the tournament this year.
What happened to
let's
you
say
guys'
they schedule a
show?
lesser team in that conference.
What happened to
That
y'all's
would
show in
help
Nashville?
Tennessee State
Station was
somewhat,
purchased.
or the teams that
They
are
decided to
top
go another
conference.
direction.
Change
Because at
format.
least, even if you lose, at least that would help your RPI
That happens often
somewhat,
in this
Yeah.
business.
because you're playing a Power 5 school, and if you win, it helps
What
even
happened to
more.
Baby Dave now?
I
You
mean,
remember
I
Baby
don't
Dave back in the day?
Mm. I was probably gone, man. I was gone for 35 years.
They was at
Most likely, if a Power 5 school is playing, it's like
Congratulations,
a
it's a green.
TSU, Arkansas Little Rock, or whoever.
You get it?
It
That's
raises the profile. Because let's be honest, and I told you this
It's a
couple of weeks
missile
ago. A lot of these
Giving
guys in the
birth
committee,
to
outside of the
another-
Power
No,
5
it's a
schools,
crayon.
Oh, that's
they
a
don't
crayon,
watch
not a
these
missile.
games. They watch the Power
Color,
5 school
A
games.
red and a
And that's the biggest
blue.
issue. And the
Giving birth
eye
to a
test
green.
sometimes is bigger than anything else on the map. It's
Still ain't got
RPI rating, a ranking.
Is that what that is?
how
A red and blue
you
giving
have.
birth
A
to a
red
green?
and a blue giving birth
And
to a
right now,
green.
a lot of
Yeah.
Think
committee
about it.
members aren't watching anything else beyond that. So if you can get
red
a
and a blue
TSU,
giving
Austin
birth
Peay,
to a green.
Arkansas Little Rock, or whoever to play a top 20 school,
There is
in a
no
big
way
conference,
the color red and blue can
and the
make green.
exposure you get
You
from
mix
that,
red and blue,
it's
it
gonna
makes
make them pay
purple.
attention later on during.
It's so clever, dude.
Going forward, what we
What
know
is he
now
saying?
about the tournament, and by the way,
That
tell me, I'm gonna
the
tell you my
the
final
red
thought
or
on
whoever
this
the
shot.
one that gave
Alabama,
birth was
Wayne,
cheating.
Little Rock, Arkansas, Little Rock.
Ah,
That's the point.
Okay.
Michigan State. I mean, you really can't go
Okay,
against
so the
it.
look on their face, he
based
grinning
on
like
what
he
he's
was.
done. Real
Oh, okay, I
It
can see the
happened.
frown on
And
the
then
red
Right.
face of the woman.
Lost last night.
And he
Texas
got this,
A&M,
oh my
although I
God,
think that's-
face.
Right, that's what I'm saying.
Then of course
Yeah,
I've got the
okay.
other
That takes some explaining.
number one.
And you gotta look at the faces
North
of the
Carolina,
crayon.
Exactly.
Kansas.
I couldn't
What are
see
your
the faces
what are your
of the
final
crayon.
four, and what are the odds of them,
Congratulations, it's great.
them getting to the finals?
Well, one of the things about
North Carolina.
us
are
though, black
and I
folks,
told you this last week.
we-
They're the two
we
best
can't-
teams playing
we
in
can
the
really
country
get
right
away
now.
with that
Just the way
because we
that
can
they are
produce
moving the
everything
ball,
in the
the
spectrum.
way
True.
they're playing defense,
And even
especially
the
Kansas.
even the
I was
albino.
struck on Thursday night just how well it was a machine.
Yeah.
The way that they were playing, and how everybody knew where they needed
I had a partner of
needed to
mine
be
though. He passed on too. He
and where
told
they
me, he
need to play
said,
a defense. So
"I
North
give
Carolina
it,
and Kansas for me
I give it 2 years,
for sure.
and I gotta see
Are
something that look like mine. I got to see a
Also,
nose,
Virginia,
eyes.
as well as because I just love their
So you give it 2 years, bro.
Yeah,
I give it 2 years. I need to see something on there that look like me,
I know that's
the
right.
14th. And I think right now the way Buddy Hield's playing,
dude.
sometimes in the tournament, and you've seen it before. One guy can carry you. Buddy Hield, the way he's playing right now, he's in a zone. And
He
it
is.
doesn't matter if two guys are covering him or one
And
guy
North
covering
Carolina's
him.
sorry ass player last night made 3
He's
pointers last
making
night.
baskets,
He
and he's
can't even
also
shoot. He
playing
made
on the
4
defensive
3-pointers in a
end.
row.
That's so important. I
I
think
said,
right
"Oh,
now,
man."
those are the 4 teams that I would have in.
but for me, Kansas, like I told you before, I think Kansas is the overall champion.
Tim, you mentioned Buddy Hield, and ironically, a good friend of mine got some connections with him. We're going to try to get him on the show. But you mentioned Buddy Hield, and I heard
Bill
a statistic on Thursday night.
I don't think so.
Kind of shocked me, which backs up what you just said about him, is that
I don't like Roy Williams.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think they said that Thursday night was the first double-double that he's had this year. So what that means is, and he really wasn't, trying to shoot the ball a lot. He got a lot of other guys involved last night. If that continues, that's going to be a scary team, because I go back to a couple of months ago, or I guess it was over a month ago, with that Kansas-Oklahoma game, that triple overtime game. That was probably the best game I've seen all year.
Oh, it was the best game that was all season. And with Buddy Hield, they don't ask him to get a bunch of rebounds or get a bunch of assists. And by no means is he a selfish player. He's not. But they ask him to score. And he knows how to move around, get around screens. And you made the kind of comparison before when we talked earlier in the year about Steph Curry. He's similar to that. He doesn't have to get triple-doubles or double-doubles to be an effective player. His job is to score the basketball. That's it. That's the only thing he does. And the fact that he's getting extra rebounds and he's getting extra assists, Oklahoma is very dangerous and obviously is a national title contender.
No doubt about that. I'm looking forward to the weekend coming up. And, of course, by the end of the weekend, we'll know who the Final Four is. Tim, tell people how they can listen to you.
All right. Follow me on the Swift Voice 24 on Twitter. Also, you can follow me out
That's Tim Swift. Thanks for joining us, Tim. We'll talk to you next week. As always, we got to go out and take our top of the hour break when we get back. We got more sports coming up. Hopefully, we'll get our good buddy Larry Ridley on from talk a little NBA, and of course, we'll talk a little NBA this segment as well. A few other things. By the way, it's funny. I showed Brother Wayne a cartoon that I just posted on my Facebook page. Go out and check it out. But I got a little story to tell you about how art imitates life, or should I say, life imitates art?
Either way is correct.
Yeah. So we'll talk about that here in a moment. You're listening to the Weekly Sports Magazine on JoyNetRadio.com.
Got it. Amen. Brought to you by the Joy Network. Dynamic Dave for JoyNetRadio.com. I'm inviting all small businesses to contact me at 855-525-5683 and let JoyNet Radio set up an advertising package specifically designed with your business in mind. This is a great opportunity for small businesses to get your products on the air. Do you want to get the word out about a new business? JoyNet Radio is for you. You want to advertise your event.
So when is your show starting?
JoyNet Radio is for you.
When is your show starting?
Do it right here on
The 4th,
JoyNetRadio.com.
Monday.
Call me, Dynamic Dave, at
Next Monday.
855-525-5683, or go to JoyNetRadio.com and review our great lineup of shows. Let's help each other and let's get your products in the hands of consumers across the country. Call me, Dynamic Dave, at JoyNetRadio.com at 855-525-5683.
And I'm going to do a panel
I'll talk to you
group
soon.
discussion with
It's
Brother
time for the weekly sports
on
page
the
with the dynamic
first.
David Coleman. Stay
On
tuned
the-
for thrills,
on,
chills, and yes, spills. Oh yeah, and a whole
Black
lot
Lives
of
Matter.
stuff. Call 855-525-5683.
Oh, really? Where is that?
At some church.
Oh, I think I heard about that.
On Facebook Facebook, drop a line on Dynamic Weekly Sports
This
Show.
is black people who are not in favor of Black Lives Matter.
Yeah.
Wow.
There are some that's here that work here. Bishop Williams, A.L. Hunt.
Tom Williams, Hunt either?
Mhm.
Okay.
They don't get it. They don't believe that you ought to have Black History Month.
Oh.
Now here's Dynamic Day.
Wow. Welcome back to the Weekly Sports Magazine. I'm Dynamic Dave. Got a lot of stuff to talk about today. College basketball front and center. Want to thank Tim Swift, our college basketball analyst, and Greg Pogue. He just brings anything. We just talk about it. My brother from another mother. They join us every Saturday morning, last hour. If you missed them, sorry. Coming up next hour, this hour, hopefully we'll get Larry Ridley on. It's kind of hit and miss with him. Larry, big time. I mean, that now. By the way, if you don't know who Larry Ridley is, and I tell the story all the time, he and I, when I first moved to Nashville, I was writing for a small African-American paper called the Urban Journal. Larry was doing hit and miss television work at independent radio television shows, and we would be the last to get credentials for the Tennessee Titans. We'd be sitting on the far end, and then, of course, as my show took off in Nashville, Larry moved to, I think, Vicksburg, got a show. Then he moved to Orlando. He's been somewhere everywhere. He ended up, while in Orlando, being able to be the voice of Madden 16. So he's the guy that does all the side work in Madden, where, when they go to games and stuff like that, that's Larry Ridley's voice. And then, of course, he got a chance to cover the Celtics, doing the run with Kevin Garnett and Doc Rivers and all those guys.
I wonder how you get a job like that for Madden 16.
It just so happens he does sports in Orlando. EA Sports is based in that area, and they just simply, just out of the blue, I guess, called him.
I get it.
And he started off. He's done it for 3 years now, I think, where they called him and he did some what they call piecework, where he did some just basic announcing, the score is, stuff like that. Then they called him back the next year, and then this last year they called him. It was that, well, we want you to do all of this part. He doesn't do the announcing of the games, but all the halftime shows, the other side games that's in it, that's Larry Ridley. So good for him.
Good.
No doubt about that. So hopefully we'll get him on here at about 9:25. But if not, we still got plenty of things to talk about. Now, Brother Wayne.
Yes, sir.
Now, I gave you a cartoon about, and let me just set this up. I gave you a cartoon about these 3 crayons.
And I didn't see it as well, and I didn't recognize that they were crayons. For some reason, I thought they were missiles.
Well, at first, but you have to look closer. But they are crayons.
Right.
And one crayon is red. The other one is blue. And the setting is the crayon, the red and the blue crayon, apparently had a baby. They went to the hospital. They're in the baby. And the doctor announces that congratulations, you have a green.
You just had a green.
Okay. So let that kind of ruminate.
Now, the facial expressions of the crayons are important as well.
Exactly. So you have to look at that. But just on the outset, think about it from this perspective. If you take a red crayon, and I actually kind of use this analogy when I'm talking about genetics, but we won't get into that. That's another show. But if you take a red crayon, and I use a similar analogy, I should say. You take a red crayon and a blue crayon. This is basic elementary stuff.
We go back to your primary colors.
Exactly. There is no way on God's green earth that you're going to get the color green between red and it's just not going to happen. So I thought it was pretty funny, and you can go out to my Facebook page and check it out.
But what context are they doing the cartoon? Did something happen recently that makes that?
No, it was just a cartoon. And then, of course, with my father's rights group, it's perfect for my group. I just posted it on that page, so they'll get a kick out of that. But I say that when you said that, when that cartoon came up, it reminded me of the story that came out last week, a couple of days ago, about Ronda Rousey. You know Ronda Rousey, right?
Yes, I've heard
Okay.
this story.
Okay. So when we come back, we got to take a break here. But when we come back, we're going to tell you this little tidbit that kind of boggled a lot of people's minds this past week about Ronda Rousey. And it just goes to show you. And I'm just going to leave it like this. Y'all our children.
Those are the kinds of stories. Well, I will end up covering. You guys, Respect for Life with Brother Wayne is coming to the Jordan.
Well, we'll talk about that in a moment.
Yes,
we'll I'm just saying.
Okay, we just
y'all our children.
Yeah,
I'm just gonna say that, and we'll be back here just for a moment.
Good.
Time to go to the family reunion.
I ain't going nowhere. Remember
Yeah, that boggled white folks' mind.
Yeah, I heard that story.
What are you talking about? There was plenty
Possibilities.
of food.
That food that didn't even taste good.
And it has been brewed too, correct?
Oh yeah. It was her mother who said it, not Rousey. It was the mother who said it because they made a movie about it.
Grandpa, after last year, I knew that was the only way we would go this year.
Hey fans, what? You haven't tried Coleman's Dynamic Rib Rub? It's great for meats, veggies, and snacks. Let your fingers do the walking and log on to ribrub.com. That's RIBBRUBB.com. Then let your mouth do the talking about great recipes and gift
Does she have children?
Then you too
I don't
can
think
bake
so.
it, grill it, smoke it. Oh yeah.
Hi, I'm Ken Martin, Senior Pastor of the Great Archview Baptist Church, and I listen to the
That's the church
weekly
I grew
sports
up in.
page with the dynamic David Coleman.
I know what you're thinking. You want to spice up your taste buds with some yummy, zesty, mouth-watering jerk chicken.
And that's what can happen with Ronda Rousey.
Delicious chicken spaghetti or sizzling jerk.
That crayon example.
That's the whole point. That's the analogy I'm making.
Yeah, that's why I'm saying what kind of what relationship, because that can happen with her. She got that kind of genetic. And she get with her white man, she can mess around and have a brown.
Sunday from 11 to 6 p.m. Jerk it's a spicy steak.
He ain't gonna believe.
Hi, I'm Hansel Harris from Hansel'sCookingVegan.com. I want to personally invite you to visit my website. To change your diet, to change your life. There's an old saying that we are what we eat. And if you're suffering from various maladies, a slight change in your diet may be just what the doctor ordered. At Hansel'sCookingVegan.com, we can set up consultations to get you going in the right
Man, I had a
direction.
crook in my neck this
Let me
week.
design a meal plan specifically.
They never
for
lasted
you.
long.
You
Get
know,
insight on
That's not,
alternative
this is what
recipes
everybody has
that
told me.
are easy to prepare.
I be
and
forgetting I'm
taste
old. I say,
great.
damn.
I would feel sorry for you, but considering that I have 8 titanium screws
That's
in my
right.
neck,
Remember,
You told me.
and I'm hurting right
I
now,
need to read that because
I was like,
never mind.
E-G.
in fact, I had to go to the doctor the day before
For
yesterday
more
for it.
information,
So,
or
Look
just
crook
call me
ain't getting that.
at 310-849.
not that I'm not empathizing
I
with
feel
you,
your point.
That's
you know,
I feel your point.
Hansel'sCookingVegan.com.
Completely.
just thankfully you don't have to deal with that every day.
I feel your point completely. I made it throughout any service, any day.
Yeah, so you know what this is? It's a violin.
Yeah.
Or like this is the world's tiniest violin.
Yeah.
The majority of these cases are for white men and white males and females. Would this be happening? And I would say no.
Do you have remedies? What you do? Just have to deal with it.
I have to deal with it.
Join me
They give me pills.
for the weekly sports magazine.
They like giving me pills.
They like getting you pills. I bet they do.
Yeah.
That's probably one of the best songs we did.
Yeah. Dynamic Dave back. We're playing sports, and of course, if you hadn't figured out today, our artist of the week is Alexander O'Neal. And as I told you guys, this guy can sing. This is probably one of my, there's another one called Sunshine, but this is my all-time favorite right here. This is what put him on the map.
I like that one.
This is, if you were here tonight, let's, Brother Wayne, if you don't mind, let's take a pause for the calls and listen to a little bit of this right here, right here.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I like me some Alexander. I almost said something. Good thing we on Christian radio. But we were talking about Ronda Rousey before we went to the break, and I wanted to bring, because I think it's fascinating and what's going on in this country today as it relates to race. And it just goes to show you that sports crosses all socioeconomic ethnic lines. And just recently, and this is from TMZ, I'm getting this from the website News One.
For the one uninitiated listener there, Ronda Rousey is.
I'm headed that direction.
Okay.
But this is from TMZ and News One. This is Roland Martin, who does this show. Used to be on CNN, so it's a pretty good website, pretty credible. But Ronda Rousey obviously is the UFC, at least was the UFC women's champion. And of course, they were talking about how great she was and she could beat up men and all this other stuff. And then she went down to Australia and Holly Holm kicked the dog stuffing out of her.
Beat her.
Okay. Beat her badly.
Yes, sir.
So hadn't heard much from her since. But just recently, a reporter from TMZ, saw she and her mother, Anna Marie DeMars, out and about. She was spending some time with the mom when the cameraman walked up. And initially, the cameraman wanted to know what was the last movie that Rousey had saw. But when she declined, her mother, not Rousey, Rousey's mother jumped in and said, "I'll give you a movie. Before this time, it's my grandfather, Ronda's great-grandfather." They show it at Black History Month in Canada every year because he was one of the first Black physicians in North America.
Boom.
Payal.
So Ronda Rousey's grandfather, or was it
great-grandfather?
Great-grandfather
is a soul brother.
Is African American.
Yes, he is.
Which means.
What does it mean to you? What does it mean?
Carry it on.
The one drop rule. What is it?
That's what I was getting ready to say. Are we dealing with the one drop here?
Yeah. So that means Ronda Rousey is really a Black woman.
Because on physical appearance, Ronda Rousey appears to look like, and she has been operating as a white lady.
Yes, she has. And it makes me wonder. Well, you can't deny her physical prowess and what she does. Although that's another story for another day. But I felt like she hadn't really fought anyone anyway. But I don't really get into UFC. But the point being is that I found it fascinating because it makes you wonder: had this been known,
would she get the same?
Would she get the same love that a lot of the white media is giving her?
Well, we can see from this point on, will she still receive the same?
Yeah, it's going to be interesting.
Yeah,
But by the way, her great-grandfather is Dr. Alfred Waddell, known as a major pioneer in Canadian civil rights.
So did her mother divulge this information accidentally?
No, it's clear. It's clear based on the report is that her mom just gave her a movie and was proud of, and clearly from what I can see with the quote, her mother is proud of her grandfather.
I just said, so that's on the mother's side. America's on the mother's side of the family, right?
So interesting story. It really is, and it just goes to show you, y'all our children. I'm just gonna leave that right there. Let that ruminate for you a little bit out there, folks. Y'all out there listening, y'all will get it later on. It'll hit you like a Mack truck, and if it doesn't hit you, go do a little research on that red and blue crayon thing that I posted on Facebook. You'll get it. See how I worked that in there, Brother Wayne? See how I do things here? I have what I call an intellectual sports show. Okay, you have to think a little bit on this show,
and that's it's an irrefutable point that you're making, sir.
Yes. So that's just what I'm saying. Mm-hmm. But anyway, we're having a good time here. We're listening to the Weekly Sports Magazine. Hey, coming back, we got to go out and take another break. Of course, we got to pay the call. We got to pay the bills. When we come back, we got more sports talk. And of course, when we come back, we'll talk a little bit with Brother Wayne, let him get some updates on why is he on my show? I know y'all are saying, well, who is that guy on Dynamic Dave's show? He's
not a sports guy.
We'll let him fill us in on why he's on the show and going forward, and some good things happening in Jordan as well. So we'll talk about all of that stuff here in just a moment. And I think, well, I just got a message from Larry Ridley. Won't be able to get him on. He's traveling. Lucky dog. Anyway, he's got an apartment in Manhattan. At least I know where I can go and stay when I go to New York. We'll be back in a moment. You're listening to the Weekly Sports Magazine on JoyNetRadio.com.
Step out in style with InStyle menswear and accessories. Located in McCain Mall. We got fashion accessories that won't break your budget. Come to InStyle's menswear and accessories and get suit, shirt, tie, socks, and shoes with alterations included for just $159.99.
Yeah, Running Rouse is
$159.99.
And there's a picture of both she and him.
Oh yeah,
looks just like him. Knows everything. Looks just like him. Now, he's light skinned, but looks just like him.
So Ronda Rousey's mama, what she looks like?
You know what? I didn't even look that up. That's why I tell people, Google is a wonderful tool.
With InStyle menswear and accessories at McCain Mall in North Little Rock.
If you could help a young father attend college, how much money would you be willing to give?
That's her.
What's that there?
That's her mom right there.
How about just $10? Hi, my name is David W. Coleman, and in conjunction with A Father's Family Affair, we've launched the 100.
But she probably, a lot of there a whole lot. Although her father didn't try to pass because he did fight for civil rights, so he wasn't denying. I mean her great grandfather, Rouse's great grandfather. There wasn't no denying that he was black.
That would have been her grandfather.
That would have been her grandfather. But a lot of whites, in fact, I saw a statistic, ironically, that 80%, there are 80%, what was it?
For him and his family. Please give to the 114
something like, there's a huge number of people who are actually black that are passing for white.
Sure it is.
Right now.
So it's not unusual. The dominant group always have people pass.
Yep.
This generation. You have to be careful when you start saying, he wasn't as good as Mike, but he wasn't as good as Matt. Every generation you get that. You begin to sound like that old man that lives down the street, and every time you walk on his yard, or you even walk by his yard, he's on the porch, and he's got that little crooked finger. He's like, "Get off my lawn! Get off my lawn!" Join me Saturday mornings at 9 for the Weekly Sports Magazine on JoyNetRadio.com.
Welcome back to the Weekly Sports Magazine. We're breaking it down old school style with a little Alexander O'Neal. He is our featured artist of the week. I told you I play the best old school bumper music in the universe. I didn't say the city. I didn't say the state. I didn't say the nation. I didn't even say the world. I didn't even say the solar system. I said the universe. Hey, I know I'm crazy. Brother Wayne said that brother over there done lost his mind. This is Sunshine by Alexander O'Neal.
Forgot about that one.
Hey, this is a really nice song. This is my second favorite. Bringing you a little sunshine with Alexander O'Neal, our featured artist of the day. And of course, got a guest in the studio. He goes by the name of Brother Wayne. And Brother Wayne, why are you on my show?
Well, let me say this first. You're taking me back to old school thoughts. I had an experience recently watching the BET honors, where they gave L.A. Reid a Lifetime Entertainment Award, and they had a one-night reunion of The Deal.
Wow!
and I came up in Cincinnati.
Oh, Sheila.
Yes,
was that there?
No, that's not The Deal.
I wasn't there.
The Deal is I only think of you on
two occasions. Yeah.
Well, I
that's day and night.
Yes, sir. I went to school in Cincinnati, Ohio. There was a club there called The Phase that I used to frequent, and The Deal was there. And And I used to think those were some really talented guys. I say, who is this? You know how a band can be playing and literally get your attention?
Yep.
You know, you be in there doing what you do, trying to talk to some woman or whatever. Then you hear the music and you like,
stop.
who is that?
Yeah.
All these dudes could sing. And what was interesting to me, when they had their reunion on BET the other day, I didn't believe it was them because only Babyface and L.A. Reid looked the same.
Wow.
These other cats, life had beat these cats down. Because, you know, the deal, all of them used to look like women.
Yeah.
They was real pretty. You know, they were dudes, but they was cute.
I wouldn't say they were pretty. They weren't pretty to me. Now they may be pretty to you.
You know, my point here is that they were pretty dudes, right? But today, life has treated them not so well, but they still had those voices.
Yeah, you know, and it's funny you bring that up because, you know, I think Phife Dawg or Questlove, not Questlove, but God, I can't even think of the name of the group. A Tribe Called Quest.
Tribe Called Quest, yeah.
Just passed away.
Oh, okay.
And he was like 45. And there were, someone had posted on Facebook a picture of all the recent Black artists who have passed away. And there were like 6 of them. And a lot of them I didn't know because they were rappers, but I knew of them. They were like 40, 45, things of that nature.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of that has to do with how they're living their lives.
Yes.
Okay. That fast life doesn't do anything but drive your body in the dirt. So all of you out there who want to be in a musician, you know, the drugs, the alcohol, the campaign, I mean, the fast women, you know, that looks good initially, but it doesn't really pan out in the long run. And you're seeing that. And ironically, when you look at that, the same thing applies in football, because you're seeing guys now who play football all their lives, and even some who play just through college. I'm myself included. They're ending up.
Body's wrecked, man.
The body is wrecked by the time they get in their 30s and 40s. So,
and see, that's one of the subject matters that I'm going to cover. First of all, I am on your program because I love your show. I listened to this program last week and I thought it was a great program. Too early in the morning, but it was great. Okay, and I said, I'm going to come up here. I like this brother, and I want to get on his program and do me a shameless plug for Respect for Life with Brother Wayne. Respect for Life with Brother Wayne is Black Talk Radio, but you don't get enough of. That's right. Lots of talk radio, very little of it is Black Talk Radio, and we are black on purpose.
Now, what is Black Talk Radio?
Black Talk Radio is radio that discusses the perspectives from the Black perspective of issues that's relevant to the Black community. And we deal with a lot of issues from our perspective. And it's important that you understand that the Black perspective is rarely presented on the airwaves.
Let me give you an example of that.
Okay.
We just heard about what happened in Brussels, right?
Yes, sir.
Did you know that 10 days prior, there were people killed in Turkey?
No,
that was claimed, a bombing that was claimed by ISIS.
And it destroyed whom?
Some people in Turkey. Turkey is a United States ally.
Okay.
Also, did you know that Boko Haram, that is pillaging in Africa, is far worse? Now, Boko Haram is a group that stole the 260 girls.
That's right.
They just killed 147 students in Kenya.
And they took that story completely off the news cycle.
So,
they took that story completely off the news cycle, and that's what we're talking about exactly. Good example. And that's the reason for this whole thing about Black Lives Matter. And because it would appear that if you're living in this country, that things that are happening that impacts the lives of Black people simply don't receive similar or the same attention.
So when is your show?
My show is coming starting April 4th. And we'll be on these airways at 5 p.m. Monday through Friday, with the perspectives coming from Black Talk Radio with Brother Wayne.
You know, and I'm excited about that and glad to have you joining my show this morning. And of course, there are people saying, well, wait a minute, we got some shows. Well, no, he's not preempting those shows.
That's right.
Those shows will continue on. And one that comes to mind is
The Wednesday.
The Wednesday show with Kendra Norman.
That's right.
Great show. She still will be on as well.
Oh no, we're gonna be like a glove. We're gonna fit around the fingers that exist.
Exactly. So, and the whole point of this is, as we told you, JoyNet Radio is expanding, and I'm glad that you brought up the fact about Black Talk Radio and the media as a whole, because I'm going to Los Angeles next week to Black Writers on Tour. Dr. Rosie Milligan is she's been doing this for 55 years, and it's a Black Expo. And one of the things that we've her theme has been, since I've known her, is who will tell our story.
Correct.
Okay. And if we don't write, if we don't put our story out there the way we believe it should be said, then it's not gonna get told. And when it gets told, then you end up with the debacle that's going on with the Nina Simone situation right now.
Having that light-skinned woman play Nina Simone, that's utterly hurts us that love Nina Simone.
Right.
And perhaps she's a great actor. I'm not trying to detract from her ability to act, but come on, we can.
Right. But and that's the point. That's why that's why you hear us talking about support this station. Get your business involved in supporting this station, not because someone is trying to make money. Right. It's because we create a voice for you. There's no other radio station in the Central Arkansas area that is going to give you the diverse programming that you get on this station. And I'm not just saying that because I do a show here. I brought my 30 years of radio experience to JoyNet Radio because I understand the vision of what Clarence Thornton, Reverend Clarence Thornton, wants to do.
Absolutely.
That's why I'm here. I can look. If you listen to this show, you can tell this show is a lot different from most. There's a reason behind that. I've been in this business for 30 years.
There.
And not only that, I've never spun records. I started my career in talk radio long before talk radio ended up being the way it is now. Okay, so I know this business, and I know that what's going on with this station is groundbreaking for Central Arkansas. And to have you on the show, on the station, I think it's going to be great. And of course, I might drop by every now and then.
Well, absolutely, because we're going to cover some areas. We're going to have a segment that we call the family discussion. And that's when when you have a family discussion, you close the doors and you deal with the issues that's in your neighborhood, that's in your household. And we're going to have those discussions. One of the discussions that we're going to have during family discussion time is going to be the exploitation of the Black athlete.
You know what? And that segues me into my next topic.
Good.
Because this is something I've been discussing for the last 10 years.
Oh man. It needs to be. Listen, y'all.
So just to give you an example of this, and I ran across this little tidbit. Now, the ACC has had a great conference. I mean, over the years in basketball, but they've also had a great tournament. All right. The ACC went 16-3 in the tournament thus far, and 4 teams remain in the Elite Eight: North Carolina, Notre Dame, Syracuse, and Virginia.
They're turning out to be the SEC of basketball.
Right. The conference is guaranteed to have at least 2 teams in the Final Four. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about that. Right. All right. Each game played in this year's tournament is worth $265,791. The money paid out in each of the next 6 years, with the number for each game or unit growing each year for a payout. That puts the total value of each game played at $1.5 million. Okay. Now, there's a method to my madness here. And by the way, this article is by Darren Ravel. He does he breaks down a lot of money in sports. Does a great job. Through Friday night, ACC teams have earned 23 units. Counting their Elite Eight games, they will earn another 2 units from the Final Four, putting the total amount of units, and they pay on the units, at 25 units. That's where the conference will finish because no units will be awarded for the title game. So regardless, they're going to get 25 units for this tournament. The previous record for the most units earned in a single NCAA tournament was 24 by the Big East in 2009. The 25 units are worth $39.9 million.
Big money.
The ACC is guaranteed itself at least $32.8 million from the 21 units it brought home in last year's tournament.
And how much of that? Keep reading, because I know it's going to tell
Okay.
you how much of that does the athletes get.
Wait a minute, we're getting there, Brother White. We're getting that. You hadn't heard about that yet, have you? We're getting there. Okay. ACC teams split the money received by the basketball fund, which was devised 25 years ago to distribute the money brought in by television deals. The latest deal with CBS and Turner is a 14-year, $10.8 billion contract that will pay the NCAA $740 million this year alone.
That's TV, right? TV.
That's TV. So now wait a minute. Here's why I want to bring this up. So since last year and this year, the ACC, their conference, just their conference, they will earn $72 million in basketball revenues. Okay,
which goes to the schools, the member schools.
This goes to the schools
and to the departments and to those athletic departments.
No, it goes to the general fund where they build new buildings, and it also goes to the athletic department. So people that play volleyball and golf and baseball,
the non-income producers,
run revenue sports, what they call it. They will get this money so they can get scholarships. Okay. Now, tell me again why athletes should be paid.
But there's no good reason why they should not be paid. But that's the point. Exploitation. When I say we're going to have a conversation about the exploitation of the black athlete, you know what exploitation means. And it simply means to make money off somebody else's abilities.
And that's exactly what they're doing. And people say, well, oh, they're giving them a scholarship.
We call it pimping in our name.
You know, pimping ain't easy, but it's still going on. It's the oldest game in the business.
But we're permitting it, though.
Well, and exactly right. And see, this is why there's a good friend of mine, Dr. Emmett Gill, he's over the Student Athlete Coalition, and I know I'm butchering the name. The Student Athletes Rights Coalition, or something like that, out of UT San Antonio. And I have to go and pull up the name because I'm sorry, Dr. Gill, if you're listening. He has talked about potentially boycotting some of these schools, and I've been saying this for years.
Boycotting some of the schools.
Some of these games. Now I've been saying this for years. You know, and I'm gonna tie this into politics, and people know you. Look, you follow my show, you know what I do. So if you don't want to hear this, you need to. I'm gonna tell you. I don't typically tell people to tune out.
No,
tune out.
Good information.
But you need to listen to this.
That's right. So
we have a problem with gerrymandering in a lot of states in this country. Okay. Now, if you don't know what gerrymandering is, that means that people in power in state legislature, they draw the district lines of how you vote. All right. So what they've been doing over the last 25 years, because Republicans have been in most of the state houses, they have been drawing district lines where they literally draw their opponents, in most cases Democrats, out of a district where they can't even win those districts anymore. That's why the Republicans continue to dominate state houses. That's why they tell you that the most important elections are state elections, not necessarily federal elections. Correct. But that's another story. So they've been passing onerous voting laws where they've rolled back the voting rights laws. We've got a problem with police brutality. We've got a problem with police killing black children and getting off. As a matter of fact, Akai Gurley, who was murdered because he was walking down the stairs in his building, and he opened the door, police looked up, scared him, and shot him. This police is going to get 500 hours of community service.
Yes, sir.
Okay? So what's my point here? Because this is what angers me. Our number one resource is our children. And you say, well, what do you mean? Well, who did the fighting during the civil rights era?
The children did.
Okay. Any war, who does the fighting? The 18 and 19-year-old young men. But when you go back and you look at history, children have always been, particularly in our community, in the forefront of fighting for justice and equality. So why aren't we using our children to do the same today?
Well, let me put it
Well,
on.
let me finish because I think this is important.
Sure, go ahead.
Here's the problem: is that if we want to really change, I tell people all the time, you vote with your dollars, okay? But if we want to change the dynamics of how people treat us, the most powerful weapon in the 60s was what? The economic boycott. All right. Now, you think it doesn't work? Well, guess what? North Carolina just passed anti-LGBT law. Guess what is happening? The NBA told them that they are going to probably not send their All-Star game to North Carolina. Okay.
If they continue to hold that.
Okay. Georgia did the very same thing, passed a similar law. The NFL told them that if you pass this law, even though we said that we were going to let you have a Super Bowl, you are not going to have a Super Bowl in this city. We're not going to bring the Super Bowl there. And Apple said that we're going to pull some of our tech giants, our tech companies out of your state.
So because they're afraid of the backlash of that community.
Okay. So what I'm saying is that they are saying they are using the weapon of the boycott to change minds, the same weapons that we used in the 60s. So why aren't we saying, okay, since you want to pass those voting rights laws, since you want to continue to be racist, since you want to continue to support domestic terrorism, that is the KKK, then we're not going to send our kids to play at your school on a Saturday morning. You think it won't work? Go back and look at Missouri last year.
It'll absolutely work, but you got to have a level of understanding and thinking to get that.
Well, you got to have you're exactly right. And you got to have people that are leaders who are willing to make this challenge.
And you got to have the conversations that produce the thinking that make people amenable to that idea.
Well,
that's what this is.
That's what we're having.
Does. That's what these airways are so important.
Exactly.
So that you can develop that thinking, because people are basically waiting to be taught. They're waiting to understand. They're waiting to get the understanding. Look at it from this perspective, and you are absolutely correct that if we did that, certainly it would be successful. Well, I look at the athletes and the entertainers as natural resources. They're like what we don't have. Like Africa have natural resources. They got the iron in the ground. They got the gold in the ground. Everybody got some natural resource that gives them the ability to defend and really finance their nation. The Arabs have the oil, and everybody has something. Well, we have natural resources as well, and they are our entertainers and our athletes. But we don't fight to control our natural resources. That's what they are to us, because they produce billions of dollars for the industries that they participate in. It's just that others are controlling them. And if we understand the significance of having the control of our natural resources, our athletes and our entertainers, then we could flex the same kind of muscle that he mentioned when he talked about the LGBT community and how they're being threatened by the NFL to take away whatever they have to take away because they're going to harm that community in some way.
Hey,
same thing happens with us if we are to look at it from that perspective. But you don't know that. You don't know that this is a natural resource warfare that's going on, and we need to control our natural resources. Our athletes, our entertainers are Black America's natural resource.
And that's the point. And if we want to change the dynamics, see, we got to start having these conversations with our children.
That's right.
You know, why would I want to go to the University of Mississippi when their state flag is a Confederate flag? Why would I want to go? And this attitude has to permeate not just through our athletes, but it has to permeate with us on our daily lives. That means supporting Black businesses. That means spending your money with people who look like you. That means not taking your money to a business that won't hire you except to sweep the floors. And you say, we're talking about the 60s. No, we're talking about the 2016s, that this mess is still going on. And the only thing that people like that understand are dead presidents.
Well, the other aspect of this that you're causing me to have to say is that you only get this thinking, or you should get this thinking, at the institutions that you go to called schools. Did you get this information at your school, Dave? When you were in school?
I did.
You were one of the lucky ones.
I went to Little Rock Central.
They don't have this information in schools. Our young people, we as a people, have been given the information that is counter to what we need to be thinking. We have to get out of school and educate ourselves.
I agree with that. But see, in this day and time, there is no excuse for not knowing, because all of us walk around with what?
But I'm just talking from an institution perspective.
I understand that. Yeah. But see, your knowledge is not, your knowledge is your responsibility.
Yes.
It's like when you go to school, it's up to you. If that teacher's teaching you 2 + 2 and you turn off and don't want to learn it, that's your fault. That's not the teacher's fault.
But Dave, so, I'm bogged down, Dave, with the pursuit of food, shelter, and clothing and entertainment.
Yeah, but again, what will get you all of that stuff is knowledge. You understand what I'm saying? And
Sure.
What I tell people when I talk to young people is, you walk around every day with this. What is it? Look at it. Tell me.
It's a cell phone.
No, it isn't.
What is that?
What is it? What is this device?
Oh, it's a computer.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So there's
personal computer.
It's a personal computer that every one of us walk around every day, and some of you all do nothing but play Candy Crush on it.
But I don't. That point is unassailable. I'm agreeing with that point you're making. But I don't want to leave off the hook the institutions that are purposefully miseducating us. They are teaching us how not to pursue our own best interests, and that is a problem.
I agree.
We have got to learn. We have got to put pressure on those institutions that are, most of them down. I'm talking public institutions, are majority black.
But see, here's the point again. We are responsible for our own education. We can't, if they're not teaching it, then that's our fault. You're right. We need to put the pressure on, but we also, as parents, as community activists, we also need to make sure that we're teaching it every day as well. You know, I teach my kids new. You got to teach your kids. And the reason I brought this computer thing up is because this thing right here is the key to knowledge. You want to find something out? All you got to do is go, you say, put it in a book. No, you don't have to put it in a book now. All you got to do is go. I tell my son all the time, Google is a wonderful tool. There's no excuse. There's more Black history being taught on Facebook right now than it is in most people's lives. The reason I said I learned it is because I went to Little Rock Central, and we know the significance of that. And they had African American studies, and one of my dear mentors was a church member who taught African American studies. So we took all those classes. Not only did we get it in schools, but we got it in churches as well.
Well, I didn't get it. I didn't get it.
Where'd you go to school?
I got it at one point.
Where'd you go to school?
I'm going to give you the quick history of this. I was at Parkview High School.
Okay, there you go.
But we had a dear lady. Her name is Dr. Ruth Patterson.
I know Dr. Patterson.
She came in with African studies. I was in the 10th grade of school. We took her class. In 11th grade, we took it again, African studies. In 12th grade, they changed it to minority studies. And we studied everybody other than Black folk. And at the last 6 weeks of school year, we studied that. And that caused everybody to stop taking the class, and they end up dropping it completely. And they demoted Dr. Patterson and put her, she was head of the English department. Then they put her back down to junior high school teacher. And I haven't forgiven her, whatever her last name was, to this day, for letting that happen to Dr. Ruth Patterson. But all I'm saying is that institutionally, we have a great brother who wrote a book and gave it to us back in the 30s. It was called The Miseducation of the Negro.
By Dr. Carter G. Woodson.
Carter G. Woodson. He told us what was happening to us. And I happen to believe any problem that you have can be solved with knowledge.
Exactly. And that's
if you continue to have the problem, that means that you don't have the knowledge to solve it.
And that's the point, and that's why we're bringing this up, is Absolutely. The fact that we have the resources to solve our problems.
Yes, sir.
And if we decide to do so, and it starts with simply our children every Saturday. You just heard me talk about the money that's going to be earned by March Madness. And what I didn't tell you is that over the next 14 years, the NCAA is going to earn, check this out, $18 billion. That's what we have to do. We got to control our resources. That's the whole point. Now, look, we got to go out and take a quick break. When we come back, we'll wrap up the show. I'll be back in just a moment. You're listening to the Weekly Sports Magazine on JoyNetRadio.com.
They could use that.
I gotta go down and
let somebody in. How do you get in?
I have a key.
Style, menswear, and accessories.
Since I'm here all the time.
Special going on right now for $159.99. It includes a suit, shoes.
That will run. That'll give me enough time. I'll be back tomorrow.
$159.99. By the way, did I say alterations are included? InStyle menswear and accessories keeps you looking good for the ladies, and it won't break your budget. From casual to classy, get to InStyle menswear and accessories. And don't forget to ask about the $159.99 suit special. That's InStyle menswear and accessories, located at McCain Mall in North Little Rock.
Hey, InStyle has you looking really good. Here's my number. Call me.
Dynamic Dave for JoinedRadio.com. I'm inviting all small businesses to contact me at 855-525-5683 and let Joined Radio set up an advertising package specifically designed with your business in mind. This is a great opportunity for small businesses to get your products on the air. Do you want to get the word out about a new business? Joined Radio is for you. You want to advertise your event or social gathering? Joined Radio is for you. Do you preach or teach? Do it right here on JoinedRadio.com. Call me, Dynamic Dave, at 855-525-5683 or go to JoinedRadio.com and review our great lineup of shows. Let's help each other and let's get your products in the hands of consumers across the country. Call me, Dynamic Dave, at JoinedRadio.com at 855-525-5683. I'll talk to you soon. David W. Coleman here for Coleman's Dynamic Rib Rub and Rib Nuts. Go to ribrub.com, that's RIBBRUBB.com right now, and stock up on the best dry marinades for baking, grilling, and smoking your favorite meats. 3 great flavors: hot, spicy, original, and scorching. Try them at your next cookout and you will shout, bacon, grilling, shaking, oh yeah! Only one place to get Coleman's Dynamic products. That's ribrub.com. Easy to order, and I'll ship direct to you or to friends and family anywhere in the United States. While on the site, be sure to check out other great items, especially the rib nuts. Who'd have thunk it? Peanuts sauteed in a barbecue marinade? That's just crazy good. Get them at ribrub.com right now, along with other great recipes. That's ribrub.com. If you don't like my rib rub or rib nuts, I'll give you money back. Do it today. That's Coleman's Dynamic Products at ribrub.com. Step out in style with InStyle.
Good morning, Hansel. I'm fine. How about yourself? I tried to call you last night. Oh. Hey, well, hey, I understand. I figured you were either asleep or busy or something like that. So, Hansel, Austin will be running your show today. But you know, you're in good hands. But you've got a few minutes. We'll wrap up. If you'll put your phone on mute, because I'm going to be playing some music through this pot, so any extracurricular noises won't come through, and then we'll check the mic when we come back after the show. Okay. All right. Talk to you in a little bit. Oh, or just be extra quiet. Just put it that way.
Okay.
All right. Okay.
1K scholarship campaign. We need 100 people to donate $10 to assist a young father with college tuition. Just $10. Go to afathersfamilyaffair.com now to make a tax-deductible donation. Your small tax-deductible gift of $10 can make the difference in a young father furthering his education as opposed to a minimum wage job. Your $10 can make the difference in a young father dropping out or completing his degree for him and his family. Please give to the 100 for 10 to 1K scholarship campaign today. It's just $10. Make that tax-deductible donation at afathersfamilyaffair.com right now.
LeBron James is the greatest player we've seen this generation. You have to be careful when you start saying, as I was, he went as good as Michael, but he went as good as Magic. Every generation you get that. You begin to sound like that old man that lives down the street, and every time you walk on his yard or you even walk by his yard, he's on the porch and he's got the little crooked finger. He's like, "Get off my lawn! Get off my lawn!" Join me Saturday mornings at 9 for the Weekly Sports Magazine on JournetRadio.com.
Well, I was expecting some music to play there, but for whatever reasons, my Alexander O'Neal is not playing. But anyway, today we've been featuring Alexander O'Neal today, and of course we've had some good stuff playing for him as well. We're going to wrap up the show here in just a moment. I want to thank Brother Wayne for joining us as well, sitting in.
Thank you.
Don't forget tell us the name of the show again that's starting.
Respect for Life with Brother Wayne.
And time, date?
April 4th, Mondays, afternoons, 5 p.m. to 7.
Well, we'll look forward to that, and see, that's one of those stir the pot shows. So we'll look forward to that. I like stirring the pot a little bit with you as well. So
yeah, we will.
Also, and don't forget this afternoon, a lot of great games going on tonight and tomorrow night as well. So hope people enjoyed that as well. Also, go out to the Weekly Sports Magazine. I want to remind people that every morning, Monday, Wednesday, and Fridays on the JC Love Morning Show, be sure to check out my Dynamic Sports Shorts. It's a two minutes of sports action commentary that's taking place in the sports world. I think you will enjoy it, no doubt about that. So that's Monday, Wednesday, and Friday on the morning show right here on JournetRadio.com. And also, if you want to advertise on Journette, you've heard me running the spots. You've heard JC talking about it as well. There is a campaign going on. This is a good time to do some advertising. This is a good time to even do a show here on Journette Radio. So please give me a call. My number is 615-554-0568, or you can call the studio. That number is 855-525-5683, and you can call that anytime. And what'll happen is it'll roll over to the master voicemail, and someone will get back to you as soon as possible. There are a lot of great opportunities here at Journette for you to do your show. Coming up next, I want to remind people that I've got Hansel's Cooking Vegan coming up. She'll be on, and she might even give you that new cookie recipe that she's doing as well. A great show, one of our favorites. Just that's an example of some of the great shows. Kendra Norman, the Royalty Pen Network, View an Author, which reminds me, I'll be in Los Angeles next week, and we'll be talking. And well, let's see what I do. Well, I'm sorry, folks. Not next week, next month. What am I talking about? But I'll be in Los Angeles next month, but I won't be doing my show from LA. We'll be having some fun. Of course, I'll get to see my good buddy Hansel Harris as well. Of course, she's a vegan, has a lot of great recipes. I'm so sick of these people with these yo-yo diets. I'm on a diet. I done lost 2 ounces. Yeah, if you listen to the next show coming up, she can hook you up. She can tell you about all of those things, that how you can regulate your diet, eat well, feel well, and you don't have to be a vegan. She can even set up a meal plan for you. So make sure you stick and stay and don't go away. Hansel's Cooking Vegan is coming right up, and I love her to death. And by the way, we got to get out of here, and it's been fun. Just remember, a voteless people is a voiceless people. A voiceless people is a defenseless people. And a defenseless people is a contradiction to democracy. We got to go, bro. We'll talk to you next week. You've been listening to the Weekly Sports Magazine on JournetRadio.com. And by the way, Brother Wayne, thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Looking forward to your show.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Very good. I didn't get in your way, did it?
Oh, no.
All right.
No. Enjoyed it.
Good.
Enjoyed it.
I used to.
Dynamic David Coleman.
Yes, sir. Packing shot us on through, boy. I didn't think we was at 2 hours already.
Oh, yeah, it goes fast.